It was a cold, foggy evening in London when Detective Arthur Collins received an unusual letter. The envelope was plain, but the handwriting was elegant, almost artistic. Inside was a single sentence: "The talented Mr. Ripley is not who he claims to be." Detective Collins, a seasoned investigator with a sharp mind and a knack for solving the most perplexing cases, was intrigued. He had heard whispers of a man named Ripley, a charming, enigmatic figure who had recently arrived in the city. Ripley was said to be a talented artist, a skilled pianist, and a man of impeccable manners. But there was something about him that didn't sit right with Collins. The next morning, Collins decided to pay a visit to Ripley's residence, a modest yet stylish apartment in the heart of the city. As he approached the building, he noticed a young woman leaving in a hurry. She looked distressed, clutching a small notebook to her chest. Collins made a mental note to find her later. When he knocked on Ripley's door, a tall, handsome man with a warm smile greeted him. "Ah, Detective Collins. I've been expecting you," Ripley said, his voice smooth and confident. Collins raised an eyebrow. "Expecting me? How so?" Ripley chuckled. "Word travels fast in this city, especially when a detective starts asking questions. Please, come in." The apartment was filled with paintings, sculptures, and musical instruments. It was clear that Ripley was a man of many talents. Collins got straight to the point. "Mr. Ripley, I received an anonymous letter about you. It claims you're not who you say you are. Care to explain?" Ripley's smile didn't waver. "Detective, I'm an open book. Ask me anything." Collins began his investigation. He questioned Ripley about his past, his work, and his acquaintances. Ripley answered everything with ease, but Collins couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Later that day, Collins tracked down the young woman he had seen earlier. Her name was Emily, and she was an aspiring artist who'd been taking lessons from Ripley. "He's brilliant," she said, "but there's something strange about him. He always seems to know things about people, things he shouldn't know." Collins asked her about the notebook she was carrying. Reluctantly, she handed it over. Inside were sketches of people, each accompanied by detailed notes about their lives, habits, and secrets. It was as if Ripley had been studying them, gathering information for some unknown purpose. The detective's suspicions grew. He dug deeper into Ripley's background and discovered that the man had no history before arriving in London. It was as if he had appeared out of thin air. A few days later, a wealthy businessman named Mr. Harrington was found dead in his home. The police ruled it a suicide, but Collins wasn't convinced. He noticed a small painting in Harrington's study, a portrait of the man himself, signed by Ripley. Collins returned to Ripley's apartment, but this time he wasn't alone. He brought a team of officers to search the place. Hidden in a secret compartment, they found a collection of personal items, jewelry, letters, and photographs, all belonging to people who had recently died under mysterious circumstances. Ripley was arrested, but even in handcuffs, he remained calm and composed. "You think you've caught me, detective?" he said with a sly smile. "But the game is far from over." As Collins continued his investigation, he uncovered the truth. Ripley was a master manipulator who used his charm and talents to gain people's trust. He would learn their secrets, exploit their weaknesses, and then eliminate them to cover his tracks. But Collins wasn't done yet. He discovered that Ripley had been working with an accomplice, a shadowy figure who provided him with information about his victims. The detective followed the trail and eventually uncovered the identity of the accomplice, Emily, the young artist. Emily confessed that she had been blackmailed into helping Ripley. He had threatened to expose her family's darkest secrets if she didn't cooperate. In the end, Ripley was sentenced to life in prison, and Emily was given a second chance. But as Collins watched Ripley being led away, he couldn't help but wonder if the man's talents would somehow allow him to escape justice once again. The case of the talented Mr. Ripley was closed, but the detective knew that some mysteries never truly end.